Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're just gonna do a small little project. This is a washcloth or a face cloth, or I mean it's a good size that can be used for anything. And this is done with the Alpine stitch. So we're gonna learn how to do the Alpine stitch today. So let's get started. I am using this. It calls for a 5, but I'm going to use a 4 because I want it nice and tight. This is 46% cotton, and that's why I'm using it for a washcloth. If you have 100% cotton, that'd be great. Anything that's a 4 weight or up. I haven't put these in the cakes yet because I just actually got them. So I'm just gonna throw this on the floor and we can get started. So I'm using a 4mm or a G hook, and we're gonna start with a slip knot. We're going to chain 35. That's my 35 chains. Now it looks funny because this yarn is funny. So this is Chantilly Rumba. I've never used it before. I just actually bought it off of Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. So I have no idea what even store you can buy this stuff at. So this is going to be, we're going to be starting the base of the Alpine stitch. So we need to, starting in the first stitch, single crochet all the way back up. So that would be 34 stitches. This stuff is great to work with. I initially thought that I was going to get snagged on it all the time because of how it's woven, but I don't. So because this has texture, and then the stitch itself is going to give your washcloth, face cloth texture, it makes for a great little project. Now you can do just a normal washcloth, double crochet, single crochet, whatever, but this you'll see after we start it that it kind of gives a bit of a scrubby texture to it. But there's also a yarn out there called scrubby yarn you can buy at Michael's that will give you the same effect. So you can actually do a washcloth in that too. I have some of that. I may actually do a washcloth with that. I'm not sure. It's hard to work with. I did a scrubby. I did a few of those and I used them, but I've never done a video. So that's my 34. I'm going to chain 2 and I'm going to turn. Now I'm going to double crochet all the way back to the other side. 34. So again, we're just building the base. We haven't started the Alpine stitch yet. We've got to get the base for it first. You'll see what I mean by that. The only thing about this with the texture, it's very hard to see where my stitches are. forget to get into that last stitch. So the Alpine stitch consists of front post and back post, but alternating rows. So this next row, actually chain 2 here, we're going to go into the front post. So skip this entire stitch right there because we're not going to use it. We're going to go right onto the front post. You're going to pull all the way up and you make a stitch. So you're going to have to pull up like that because your next stitch is going into the normal space right above that post. Then this next post, sorry, my camera shut off. So we've done this post, front post, we did this stitch above this post, and now this next post, we're going to go around the front post. We're going to pull up, and we're going to double crochet. So this next post here, we're going to go right into the stitch above it. And then we're going to double crochet onto that post. So every other post, you're going to do a front post. And everything in between on that post, you're going to go into that stitch. Double crochet. And that's the first part of the Alpine stitch. So we'll do the next post. Pull up and double crochet. The reason we pull up is because we want all this to be even with this next stitch. It just goes into this. So we want our posts, our double crochet around the post to be even with the double crochet we just put in the stitch. So we'll continue with this front post all the way across. Just making sure I'm getting on top of that stitch. So if you're getting squished, just pull it out so you can see where you're going. So we're at the end. We've got no other posts. I'm going to put a double crochet into where I'm supposed to. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn. The reason I'm going to chain 1 is because I'm going to do a row of single crochets starting in the very first stitch, and I got to pull this back to get into that first stitch. So you want to keep your edges nice and straight. So single crochet in every stitch, making sure your count is still 34. make sure you have 34. You're going to chain 2 and turn. So we're going to do this Alpine. This is still part of the Alpine stitch, but it's not. So I've already showed you how to do the Alpine stitch, and that's, you know, double crochet here, double crochet there. But this row is going to be different. So let me get my pointer. These are all front posts, and now these are back posts. These are what we did on the other side. Let me take this out. So this is what we just did. I put this front post double crochet on all the way over, and then we double crocheted here. So now when we turn it, do you see? So where we stuck our double crochet is now a front post here, but we're not going to go into those. So we want to go into the same ones we just did, but once we turn this, the ones we just did are now a back post. So I don't know how to explain. These are sitting up, looking right at you. So the ones in between that you got to go down and grab, that's now a back post. And that's what you're going to get into. So we have nothing here to do. So we're just going to put a double crochet to start. Then we're going to go into the back post, pick that up, pull up, and double crochet. And then we just do the exact same pattern that we did before, putting that double crochet above that post that we did in the previous row. Actually, the post we did in the previous row is what we're doing now. So you got to go in and pick up the back post now and double crochet, and then double crochet on top of that next post, then your next post. So the next post you're double crocheting on is our front post, so your next post is going to be the back post. So that's what it's going to look like. And that's the Alpine stitch. So I did 26 rows to make a decent size face cloth, dishcloth. But you can do whatever you want. So just keep doing this until you get to the size that you want. Just remember, when you do your row of single crochets, just remember to count and make sure you still have 34. It's kind of not that difficult to get it right, but you never know, anything could happen. But it also you know, lets you know that you're in the right spot and you don't need that extra stitch on the end or anything. So I'm going to put my last stitch in there. I'm going to chain one, I'm going to turn, and this is where I'm going to do my single crochet row. So you got to pull back starting in this very first stitch to keep your sides straight. So as long as you're getting into the very first stitch and you're getting into the very last stitch, you should be able to keep your sides straight, no problem. So chain two, and now we're back to our Alpine stitch. So now we're doing front posts. So you just got to keep track of front post, back post. So we have a back post that's starting this whole thing off. So I'm going to just go in to that stitch above it and do a double crochet, because what I want to do, my double crochet around my front post. And I'm going to go above this stitch. And I'm going to grab my front post. So just continue to do this until you reach your desired length, and I will see you back here and we can finish it together, which is easy peasy. There's nothing really, I mean, some people just finish it. I did a half double crochet around the whole outside of the project, so I think it just looks cleaner. And so if you screw this up and you forget where you're what you're on, so if you're on front post or back post row, it's no big deal. You're not even going to notice. So I didn't do 26 rows because I'm just making small dishcloths, but once you get to the end, if you're doing your 26 rows, we are going to do a half double crochet all the way around your washcloth or dishcloth. So chain two, turn it sideways, so you're looking at where there's actually no stitches at all. You're going to have to create stitches down the side. So a half double is yarn over. Stick your hook in wherever you can get it in and pull through all 3 of those loops. That's a half double. So just stick your hook in wherever you can. And this will just give a cleaner edge to your cloth. You don't have to pull tight. You're just making the stitches. And if you haven't completely kept your edges straight, this will kind of help the appearance of that as well. Make sure you're counting how many down the side you have so that you can match on the other side. You can put 2 in the same space. Makes for a rounder corner. And then you've got stitches here you can follow. So you see the edge it's putting on there. Anyway, go ahead and finish and I'll meet you at the end. So I've come back around to where I started. And I'm going to go into this next stitch. Or somewhere, space, stitch, fasten off. And then you can just weave in your ends. This one I weaved in while I was doing my half double crochet around the perimeter. So I can just cut that off. There you have it. The Alpine stitch washcloth. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.